Hey guys, Ruby here with Unorthodox Aquatics, and today we're going to be checking up on the Panther grouper that I got a little bit ago. So here they are. The one on the right, I think came to me with a swim bladder problem. Kind of swims a little bit at an angle, seems to maybe be a little bit struggling. It's eating. They're picky eaters. It took me a while to get them to eat various different frozen foods. Maybe they were eating live. This one has no problem. This one, however, has to take semi-frequent rests and struggles to get to the top a little bit more. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do to address that in the long term for this guy. The other one hasn't been shown any aggression to him or anything, but I'm not sure. Drop it in the comments if you have any ideas as to what I can do or what this might be from. I mean, he's been this way the whole time I've had him, so I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Panther grouper in general. These guys hail from the Western Pacific coast, so like, Australia, Asian islands, stuff like that. They live in the seas that border those countries. They're also known as the barramundi cod and the humpback grouper or spotted grouper. Some people probably call them a leopard grouper. I don't know. Though panther grouper is their official non-scientific name. They are a medium-sized fish. Maybe in comparison to other fish in the ocean, they're small. But they like to say in the aquarium, okay, it's a medium-sized fish. It gets about 2 feet in the aquarium. It can reach up to around there. It can get to be around 28 inches in the wild, but most fish you never really see hitting these huge, massive sizes they can get to in the home aquarium. And I think that's a lot to do with the space provided and the food fed, and also other external environmental factors that are different between the home aquarium and living out in the wild. These guys are characterized by their stunning coloration pattern of a white or sometimes grayish body with those stunning black spots. And I love those pectoral fins, just how wide and large they are. That really is characteristic of the grouper family. And their head tapers down to a point where the mouth is, and so it appears that they have a humpback. It's not actually, they aren't actually humpbacked in any, literal sense with their bone structure. But, yeah, these two, they're just stunning fish. So these guys live in the wild in clear, salt, or brackish waters. And that may depend on whether or not it's spawning season and also age. The larger adults are not going to tolerate lower concentrations of salt as readily as the juveniles are going to. They're obviously found in a tropical setting, from depths from 6-ish to about 125, 135 feet in the ocean. One cool fact about these guys is they are known as protagonist sequential hermaphrodites. What that means is that these guys are all born female, every single one of them, and they have potential to change their sex to a male at some point in their lives. And why this can happen is because fish genetics and sex is not linked to chromosomes like it is in humans, mammals, things like that. So I think that's a really interesting fact. What can make them change can be a variety of things. It can be environmental factors, whether there's chemicals in the water, whether certain enzymes become more prevalent in their bodies, or whether they consume a certain amount of, enzymes or amino acids, things like that, that can change their physical, molecular biology. And they can be born as females and end up breeding as males. Water temperature can also be a factor. Studies have been done, amongst many species of fish that do this. But I just thought that was a really interesting fact to share with you. So these guys are carnivores. Although they've been picky eaters for me, in the wild they will eat nearly anything that can fit in their mouths. Right now I'm feeding them frozen. Right now they're responding best to frozen cubed bloodworms. I don't have anything really in my area that is a good source of live food. So, yeah, I'm just kind of winging it with the frozen protein-rich foods for these carnivores. Like I mentioned before, these guys are tropical, so about a temperature of 73 to 80-ish. I don't know, that's usually sufficient, and for where they're natively in the world, that is the average temperature they are found at. And these guys, like I said, brackish or salt tanks. This one is probably right in the middle, or maybe a little more high on the salt side than the brackish side. I'm not running any crazy fancy setup for this. It's got a dual hob filter, and it's been running amazing, actually. The tank, the specific gravity has been stable. I'm not getting much since I have had this tank full, since I got the fish. This is all that's been evaporating, and I was a little worried about that as far as what I would do for, top ops. What was going to be my method, having a higher salt content, but not actually having an official salt setup. So I'm generally pleased with the outcome everything has been at so far. So yeah, 300 gallons minimum, and they say that's just for one of these guys at an adult full size, 2+ feet or whatever. So just keep that in mind, and you'll obviously have to go bigger if you're going to put it with anything. And I am not that experienced in salt water myself to even really suggest tank mates, because I just don't have large saltwater tanks with large saltwater fish. I haven't been doing that side of it long enough yet, so but perhaps one day. In theory, I could do a nice saltwater pool pond for these guys. My garage here at this house fits 6 cars, so I could get some 20 longs, build some sumps, and get another pool pond, and I could do it up proper for these guys if I'm going to keep them long term. So I guess stay tuned and find out. Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining me. This has been Ruby with Unorthodox Aquatics, and I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up and a little mini informative on the Panther grouper and give you guys an update on how my guys were doing. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.